Is there a song or a piece of music that always puts you in a good mood? How about a melody that can bring you to tears? Or music that will always be a part of those special moments in your life? We all have our favorite soundtrack, music that carries us from birth to death. Music that helps us remember and feel the full range of emotions that connect us as human beings. Music is fascinating. We hear it before we're born, we listen to it growing up, and it bonds us with friends and social groups, communities and cultures. Music helps us connect. And this feeling of connection is critical as it affects our physical, emotional, and mental health, our relationships, and even our risk of premature death, all confirmed in a 2018 study on social isolation and loneliness. As a professional harpist for over 40 years, I go to music when I feel lonely or disconnected from myself or others. As a certified clinical musician and co-author of 2 clinical trials exploring the use of music to help reduce anxiety and support brainwave and immune system function in cancer patients, I believe expanding how we listen to music in a way that develops our skills of tolerance and empathy can be a strategy to address the epidemic of loneliness that we are now experiencing. A recent survey from Cigna indicated 3 in 5 adults feel lonely. And another survey out of Harvard University reported 61% of young adults, ages 18 to 25, experience miserable degrees of loneliness, in part because, and I quote, "No one in the past few weeks had taken more than just a few minutes to ask how they're doing in a way that made them feel like the person genuinely cared." Asking questions to understand someone and having the ability to share the feelings of another is empathy. And we know through brain imaging that empathy is a skill that can be learned and developed, and it involves multiple areas of the brain that contain special cells that help us mirror the actions and emotions of others. What's been fascinating to me over the years is how listening to music in a different way, not just for entertainment, background atmosphere, relaxation, or wellness, but rather listening to music as an expression of another human being has helped me increase self-compassion and develop my skills of tolerance and empathy. It began many years ago for me with heavy metal music. Woohoo! Our boys love metal music, and so we listened to it every morning on the way to school. Now, I didn't understand this music. I didn't like it. It felt angry and loud and forceful, and it was often really uncomfortable to listen to. But I endured it because the boys loved it. And then one day, I decided to stop judging it, because as a mother, I was really curious to understand why they liked it. So I decided to ask one question. What are they saying? And that one question opened a floodgate of unexpected connections. The boys told me about the myths and the legends conveyed through the music, and stories of pain and personal tragedy that the musicians had gone through. In the days that followed, my heart opened, my mind opened, to hear this music as an expression of another human being. I learned a lot, and I now understood why the boys liked it. My tolerance increased, and I felt a deeper connection with the boys and the musicians. I was surprised how one question could create these feelings of empathy, which again is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Which begs the question, how can we understand without asking questions? And how can we share the feelings of another without feeling our own feelings? Metal music was stretching me out of my comfort zone as I felt this inner resistance. And I knew it was an opportunity to turn the mirror and ask myself one question. What's yet to be discovered? And I understand that some people may not be comfortable with this type of self-reflection. But for me, it felt safe and natural because I've been doing it for years. And to give you an idea as to how I see myself and others, when I look out into the audience, I see everyone as a harp. Beautiful instruments with your own unique set of strings, with your own unique experiences and stories and feelings. So let's imagine that all those strings represent a different feeling. Could you find a common string with the person sitting next to you? Of course you could, because we're human beings who experience feelings of joy and pain and love and loss. So when I ask myself, what's yet to be discovered, I'm seeing myself as a harp with low strings and high strings. And every experience and every feeling I've ever had is right here within me. And no string is good or bad. They're just different. And together, they create the fullness of my sound, the fullness of who I am. For years, I was afraid to express anger. So I pushed it down into my low strings. And when I felt the anger flowing through the metal music, I believed that I was feeling the anger within me being triggered or activated. And that was the resistance I felt. As someone who often interprets life through musical terms, it's fun for me to demonstrate this idea of how music can help us feel our feelings by using tuning forks. So let's imagine that this tuning fork represents a feeling flowing through your favorite song or piece of music. It could be happy, sad, energizing, angry. You pick the feeling. Now let's imagine this tuning fork represents that same feeling inside of you, because both of these tuning forks have the same frequency. I struck this one, and it began to vibrate. And the vibrations moved through the air and activated this one. This is called sympathetic resonance, when two objects of the same frequency come into close proximity to each other, they create a resonant system. They begin to resonate or vibrate or sing together. My aha moment was the realization that sympathetic resonance happens when the frequencies are the same. Have you ever said something like, "We're on the same wavelength," or "I resonate with that," or "Can you feel the vibe in here?" That's sympathetic resonance. We can feel it because it's in us. Now, another experience that's similar to this is called emotional contagion, which is defined in the Dictionary of Psychology as the rapid spread of emotion from one or a few individuals to others. And often we don't even notice it. It just happens as we catch the emotions of others. Becoming aware of sympathetic resonance and emotional contagion has helped me pay more attention to my actions and reactions to music and those around me. For years, I was catching the anger of others and being triggered. And then slowly over time, the process of self-reflection prepared me, with the help of metal music, to finally see my anger in a way that I didn't have to be afraid of it anymore. I could embrace it as another one of my strings through self-compassion. And it's my experience that the more compassionate I am with myself, the easier it is to recognize and embrace my feelings and emotions. And then it's so much more comfortable to empathize with others, to share the feelings of another, because I'm able to discern their feelings from mine. So why does this matter? We are human beings who need each other to survive. And feeling lonely and disconnected directly affects our health and well-being. Expanding how we listen to music as an expression of another human being may help us feel more connected. As we actively listen to understand what the musician is communicating, and we honestly feel what's sympathetically resonating within us, we're developing our skills of tolerance and empathy and increasing self-compassion. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone go out and try to like or understand every type of music. What I am inviting you to do is consider 3 steps that continue to help me when I listen to music. 1, pause. Pause to feel a connection or resistance. 2, stay open. Stay open to understanding what the musician is communicating. And 3, be curious. Be curious to find a common string, a common story or feeling. This helps me feel more connected within myself and with the musician. And then it's easier to apply these 3 steps in my relationships with others, with family and friends, with coworkers, and even strangers, some who may be feeling lonely. Can you imagine using music to create unexpected connections within ourselves and with each other? Music can be a universal language that helps us remember our shared humanity and our common strings. And it can be used to develop our skills of tolerance and empathy. It's up to us to make that so. Thank you.